The stretch that we're fishing is beautiful, but we really are up against it. It really is motoring through this stretch. The water levels have come up another 1.5 foot last night. The conditions really are testing. Welcome to the Trent! Well, you find me and my good mate Keith Pickett somewhere a little different to the norm for both of us. You find us up north, we are on the Trent. We're actually going to be here for the remainder of today, tonight and tomorrow, and we're going barbel fishing. What do you expect, mate?
It's challenging, mate, isn't it?
This is definitely going to push us out of our comfort zones. We're thoroughly looking forward to what we've got planned over the next day or so, but...
The water's high, isn't it? We've been told by the bailiff the water's really high at the minute. It's a lot of water coming through there, isn't there?
He said it's around 4 foot up at the moment and it is absolutely motoring through. We're on a private little area here. We're on an island. It looks absolutely incredible. Barbel fishing to me, I've been once before, managed fish to around 9.5 pounds. Keith's never been before, so we are really pushing ourselves here. We've got the kit, we've got the bait, we haven't got the knowledge.
We just need a barbel.
But we're doing all we can to put a barbel on the bank. It's going to be a thoroughly enjoyable time. I think it really is going to push the boundaries of both of us. We've had a couple of casts out there, very snaggy, very rocky, but we know that is where the barbel want to be. That's their natural habitat. We've got to jump into their comfort zone. You up for it, mate?
Yeah, mate, let's do it.
Let's get some rods out.
Wow, what can we say? Look at this, stunning, isn't it? It's completely new to me, all this barbel fishing. I'm really intrigued to see what's going to happen over the next sort of 24 to 36 hours. Something I've never done before, completely out of my comfort zone with this. You know, I'm used to fishing really still lakes, big lakes, whatever, but this is something completely out of the norm for me. So really excited to see what's going to happen over the next day or so. Like I say, completely out of my comfort zone, but I'm going to give it a good crack. It is high, the water's high, you can see how fast it's coming through here. It's going to be challenging holding bottom, but you know, we will definitely give it our best shot and we'll see what happens.
I know it is.
Well, there you go. What a pristine little barbel, and my first one from the Trent. Made up with this one. Rods have been out a couple of hours. We're not going to hesitate, just a quick little look at him. Admire just how beautiful it is. Get this one back, get those rods out, because they're clearly there up in this whirlpool. But you know what? What a fantastic thing to do on a Sunday afternoon. What a beautiful, beautiful fish. What a truly magical place. I can see why so many river anglers from up and down the country head here in their numbers. The stretch that we're sitting on, we're so fortunate. One of Keith's good friends is a member of this very exclusive club and he's gave us a guest. We cannot thank George enough. His knowledge of this area and his knowledge of this waterway is incredible. The area that we're fishing is like tidal. It is incredible. We're up in the whirlpool. The water is moving through at an absolute rate of knots. If there was a boat or a raft on here, it would be whitewater rafting. We're going to fish 2 rods up till darkness. Better to be safe than sorry. The conditions are absolutely motoring through. I wouldn't want any of the tripods or the hardware to go over. So we're going to fish with our eyes, maximise our opportunity. There's some really nice areas out here. And as I'm saying that, one of Keith's rods is away.
Well, I just had my first occurrence on the Trent. I was sitting there, just got one rod out, sorted the other rod out, and about 5-10 minutes later, the right hand rod absolutely just ripped off. The tip was bent right round. Anyway, I've hit into it, it's nearly took the whole pod over. Unfortunately, that was my prize. This just gives you an idea of constantly what is coming down this flow. I mean, we've seen proper half like logs, they're massive logs that are coming down, sort of drifting down in front of us, but as soon as one of them hooks up onto your sort of rig in that flow, that's giving you a one-tainer. My drags are pretty tight here. The tips are constantly bending, they're bouncing because it's obviously fighting against the current, but yeah, unfortunately, that was the end result in my fast heart-stopping moment on the Trent. So we'll put that bit down there, get rid of that. The rods are back out, and fingers crossed the next one's a barbel, yeah? Come on.
Well, you join me on a very wet and miserable Monday morning here on the Trent. Last night we decided to pull the rods in. The weather conditions, they got quite treacherous. We had a couple of hours just before darkness and I did manage my first Trent Barbel. £7, backed up with a little bream. Nothing else to report this morning. We've both got one rod out each at the moment. We've actually moved down because where we was fishing, it's absolutely treacherous. The water levels have come up another 1.5 foot last night. It's moving through so fast. We're struggling to hold bottom in with 12 ounces of lead. You could probably hear it behind me. It really is motoring through this stretch. There's been quite a few anglers come and go since we've been here. There's not a lot been caught, but we are very confident that we can manage to get another one before we head home today. The stretch that we're fishing is beautiful, but we really are up against it, you know. This is testing conditions. The person who runs the lock himself, the bailiff jockey, was round last night and said this is really challenging conditions. We're always up for a challenge. We're not gonna go home. It's wet, it's miserable, but all the time the rods are out, we've got all that important chance of a double figure barbel from the Trent. Myself and Keith will show you the bait mixes, the rigs and the bait of choice for our session here on the Trent. I'll tell you what, the wind is blowing this right in down the back of my neck. The conditions really are testing. It's absolutely horrible. Rows and rows of cormorants out there. The seagulls are out there in abundance. Let's just hope there's one more chance of a big, big barbel for myself or Keith. When carp angling, depending on the time of the year, I always know the bait mix that I'm going to use. But I was speaking to some very, very good barbel anglers, and the chorizo, meaty, something with a lot of flavour, a lot of liquid content is really good for catching barbel. So the mix that I've decided to go in with, it's not too dissimilar to my carp mix, but the main basis around this is a spicy chorizo. I've got the mixed pellets in there, the 3 different sizes, different breakdown times, but loads of attraction. Some whole boilies, 15s, 18s, and a load of crush. I've also put in some of the liquid food, and then we've got a new enhancement liquid, real smoky, loads of attraction, loads of cloud. I'll give it a good coating in that. When you've got opportunities to fish different venues, it's a great time to test new gear. And barbel fishing has gave us the possibilities to go in with. I've got some of the paste just from the shelf life boilies, but the lads at the bait factory knocked me up some paste to put round the leads, put round the hook baits, and they've also done me some really durable hook baits, some hard hook baits and some really unique dumbbell shapes. We was asked for hard hook baits in the range, so I've got some 15s and some 18s. These are heavily glugged to put loads of attraction in the water column. We've got some fast flowing water here. We want to get the flavour penetrating down in them lower levels, in and around the rocks and the crevices where the barbel like to live. And the mix that I've gone in with is full of attraction, loads and loads of flavour, really spicy, and I think this is going to give us a good opportunity of putting a few barbel on the bank.
Right, I'm just going to run through the setup we're using down here on the Trent for these barbel. I'm fishing this just on a standard lead clip system. And look at that for a lead. 10-ounce grippers. And can I just say, they are not holding bottom out there in these conditions, which is, I mean, it's extreme out there, it's mental. But that's going straight through to like a 2 foot, 18 inches to 2 foot we're using, a fluorocarbon hook length. And we're keeping it nice and simple. That's a size 6 beak point hook with a single Elevate Chorizo 15mm bottom bait. We've been attaching small bags of PVA bags of pellet, sort of mushed up pellet, all different bits and bobs out there, trying to entice that bite. But yeah, keeping it nice and simple. We've been told by the lads that fish it up here quite often, that's the sort of going setup you'd use. But like I say, it's them leads are huge and they're just not holding bottom out there. It's really, really challenging conditions down here. We've been trying hard, but Dan's nicked one, which was great to see. But yeah, it's not long before I think we're gonna have to throw the tail in on this one and come back in sunnier times and give it another go. See what happens.
Well, it's now time to get out of here. On the advice of the lock keeper, so much kelp and weed, down the main line, down to the 10-ounce lead, just trying to hold bottom. It's been an experience, and it's certainly one I'm going to remember. I can't wait to come back. The weather has been nothing short of relentless. But this is the last time I'm going to be reeling in. Long fluorocarbon hook link, double chorizos, 10-ounce leads. We are not beaten. The Trent, we're coming back for you.